All right, let's get straight to it. In the high-stakes world of deal-making we all operate in, there's a new imperative on the table: using artificial intelligence in our due diligence. We're going to explore how this isn't just about moving faster, it's about gaining a real, decisive competitive edge. So, let's dive in. Yeah, this quote really nails it, doesn't it? The core idea here is actually pretty simple. AI helps us make faster, smarter, and, this is the key, fundamentally de-risked investment decisions. It's about shrinking that deal timeline while for the first time actually expanding our analytical depth. And here's the number that should really grab your attention. We are looking at a 60 to 70% reduction in the time spent on financial due diligence. How? By automating all that grunt work, that painful data processing. That's time we can immediately put back into high-level strategic analysis instead of manual data entry. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why this shift is so critical right now. Then we'll peek under the hood at the technology itself. From there, we'll do a deep dive into financial and legal risk analysis. And finally, we'll lay out a really practical path for how to get this implemented. So first up, let's establish why we're even having this conversation. The truth is, the old way of doing things is simply breaking down. It's just not tenable anymore. I mean, let's just be practical for a second. We're all in these competitive auctions with less time than ever, but the data rooms have absolutely exploded. When your team is staring down 50,000 documents, the math for a manual review just doesn't add up. It can't be done. And what happens? Critical risks get buried, and due diligence starts feeling less like a strategic tool and more like a box-checking exercise. In this slide really illustrates that shift perfectly. On the left, that's where we are today. Our teams are spending most of their time just fighting with the data. AI completely flips that script. It automates those low-value, data-intensive tasks, and it frees up our best people to do what we hired them to do: apply human judgment, challenge assumptions, and really focus on value creation. So, how does this all actually work? Let's go ahead and look under the hood and deconstruct this AI engine into its core pieces. It's probably best to think of it as a 5-layer stack. It starts with document processing. That basically inhales and understands everything in the data room. Then, financial analysis comes in and automates the numbers. The market intelligence layer gives us crucial outside context. Then you have the risk detection layer, which is constantly scanning for hidden threats. And finally, and this is so important, the integration layer feeds all these insights directly into the memos and models we're already using. Okay, now let's dive a little deeper into what is probably the highest impact area for our process: accelerating financial analysis. This is a fantastic before and after comparison. We all know the manual process on the left. It's slow, it's tedious, it's prone to error. The AI-powered process on the right, well, that's all about speed and precision. It automates financial spreading from any document format, but more importantly, it flags potential EBITDA adjustments and accounting anomalies for our team to review. And that's the key. It doesn't give us the final answer, it directs our attention to the right questions. Now, beyond the financials, one of the most powerful advantages here is in de-risking a deal from a legal and compliance standpoint. This question should hit home for just about everyone. In a big transaction, trying to do this manually with any degree of certainty is, well, it's nearly impossible. You're forced to rely on sampling, and we all know that sampling is just an inherently risky bet. And AI provides a solution. It can read every single one of those 10,000 contracts. It systematically extracts key clauses like change of control or unusual indemnity terms. It can scan court databases for litigation exposure that we might not even be aware of. It checks for regulatory red flags. The point here is that it transforms legal diligence from a spot check into a truly comprehensive, systematic risk assessment. And this really gets to the strategic benefit. We can stop paying top-dollar legal fees for junior associates to spend hundreds of hours reading boiler contracts. Instead, we can focus our counsel's expensive expertise on the handful of high-risk documents and complex issues that the AI has already surfaced for us. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Let's now get into the how. What does a practical path to actually implementing this look like? We're not talking about building some massive system from scratch. The smartest and most effective strategy is what's called the configure approach. You start with a proven AI engine and simply configure it to your specific investment thesis, your DD checklists, and your IC memo format. It really is the best of both worlds. It's tailored to our process, but it's incredibly fast to deploy. And this isn't some multi-year IT project either. We can get to full deployment in about 6 to 8 weeks. We'd start by mapping our process, then validate the AI on some of our past deals. After that, we'd run it in parallel on live deals to build up the team's confidence. And by week 8, we'd be ready to transition to an AI-first approach, with our team providing that critical human oversight. Now, I know the biggest question in this room is about security and confidentiality. Let me be perfectly clear. These are the absolute, non-negotiable requirements. Zero data retention by the vendor. Private, dedicated models that are never shared. Full SOC 2 compliance. An ironclad guarantee that our proprietary data is never used for model training. And complete audit trails. Security is paramount, and this is how you ensure it. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The deal environment has fundamentally changed. The volume, the velocity, the complexity, it's all on the rise. The question we really have to ask ourselves is whether our process has evolved with it. Are we actually equipped for the deals of today, or are we still operating on a model that was built for yesterday?